January, year of our Lord, 1192.
"Libby," came the soft voice. "Wake up, sweetheart. Open your eyes and look at me."
Libby. The name Kieran had given her because he thought her given name wasn't suitable enough for her comeliness, as he had put it. Rory was somewhere between the fog of lucidity and the black depths of unconsciousness, hearing him call to her in the darkness. She could hear a familiar voice calling to her, and at some point realized there were gentle taps against her cheek. Then someone had her by the shoulders and carefully shook her. The buzz in her head lessened, and she became more aware of her surroundings. But her brain was swimming, her heart pounding. When she tried to open her eyes, everything was spinning.
"Oh, God!"
she gasped, trying to steady her breathing.
What happened?"
There was a brief silence.
"I do not know."
After a moment, Rory opened her eyes as the world started righting itself. The most brilliant night sky she had ever seen was staring down at her, and she blinked, struggling to orient herself. A big face, handsome and granite-jawed, with gem-like brown eyes, suddenly loomed in her vision.
"Are you well?"
Kieran asked gently.
"Do you hurt anywhere?"
Rory gazed up at him, his head backdropped by the blazing night. She reached up, touching his stubbled cheek as she struggled to orient herself.
"Kieran?"
She labored to sit up, looking around as she did so.
"What in the hell happened?"
He helped her to sit up, his clear brown eyes scanning their surroundings.
"I can only surmise," he said softly. "The last I recall, we were on the beach, and a storm was upon us."
"The beach!" Rory suddenly gasped, turning to him and trying to gain a look at his torso.
"Oh my God, you're bleeding to death! Let me see."
She fumbled around as he straightened up so that she could see his shirt. But he had already inspected his abdomen for the wound that had been draining his life away only minutes ago. It didn't exist any longer. It was gone. He was whole, and he had awoken with a pounding head to the sound of surf. His sense of confusion was only matched by his sense of shock.
"Kieran, your wound."
Rory continued to hunt. She finally unbuttoned his shirt, revealing his magnificent chest and muscular form. Running her fingers along his taut stomach, she shook her head in shock and awe.
"There's nothing there. What happened to your wound?" "I do not know."
"What do you mean you do not know? We didn't imagine it. You were bleeding to death just a few moments ago." She looked back to his belly, frustrated and in disbelief.
"But where in the hell did it go?"
Kieran could only shake his head, his eyes still scanning their surroundings. He had the oddest sense of déjà vu and could not explain why. Rory, still clutching the open ends of his shirt, began to look around too.
"Where is everybody?"
she asked.
"Where are Bud and David? And Darlow? Where did they go?"
Kieran rose from a seated position into a crouch. He could see a village in the distance, flames from fire and burning torches casting heavy smoke into the air. His heart began to pound, this time from excitement and apprehension. It occurred to him that he recognized the distant village. He recognized the watchtowers rising out of the sand bluffs. He never thought he would see those sights again. It was almost too much to believe. He turned to Rory.
"What do you remember last?"
She blinked her brilliant hazel eyes, a color between green and golden brown that both captivated and captured. A thick fringe of lashes and tilted ends gave her a very feminine and sexy expression. At the moment, however, those miraculous eyes were very muddled.
"What do you mean?" she asked.
"Precisely that.
What do you remember last?"
She rubbed her forehead, irritated, sick.
"I don't know. Probably the same thing you do. The beach, the storm, blood all over the damn place, and then...
She sighed heavily, fear joining the other sensations she was experiencing.
"Everybody seems to have vanished. Why did they just leave us here alone? And what in the hell happened to your wound?"
Kieran would not let her lose focus.
"Think hard, Libby. Is that all you remember? Simply being on the beach outside of Nahria?"
She nodded, not entirely sure what he was driving at. Then her eyes flew open wide.
"Wait a minute. There was a storm and a lightning strike. It was so close to us that I could feel the heat. I remember screaming because I thought we were going to get fried. but you blocked out the heat, and then... Wow. Then I remember darkness.